not be fooled by his very common name. Our next guest is an uncommon man with an exceptionally unique and fascinating show. Season 2 of How To with John Wilson premieres the day after Thanksgiving on HBO and HBO Max. Please welcome John Wilson. Thanks for coming all the way out from New York. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Michael Keaton, wow. I didn't think I'd be in the same building as him.
Same chair as him, not just the same building.
I often like to think of myself as the Michael Keaton of documentary. Because, if you ask me to make a movie, it's almost kind of like summoning Beetlejuice. In that, I'll get the job done, but you may not like what you get.
Well, I liked it. Boy, do I like the show. I get like hypnotized watching the show. It's hard to explain the show to people. I wind up usually just saying, just watch the show, But how do you explain the show?
The show is kind of like a collage of weird footage on the streets of New York to begin with. It was, for me, I felt like it was extremely hard to pitch initially, just because people didn't understand the concept of a show where you wouldn't see the host and that you would just hear them the whole time. But, when I was in the room with Nathan pitching, he says, have you
Nathan Fielder,
Nathan Fielder, yeah.
Brilliant person in his own right, pitched this with you. Yeah,
and, he said, have you ever listened to a podcast? It's very similar to that, but
so,
only with visual.
When you talk about the footage, and you have these shots that are, it's a mixture of shots that are just mundane, but somehow absorbing of things going on in New York, people walking around, objects you find on the street. Yeah. Where do you get all that footage?
The show is, for those not familiar, it's all kind of first person, but, and I shoot about 3/4 of the show, but I have an amazing team of second unit shooters that actually shoot the rest of it, and I can't be everywhere all at once. So they usually go out and I give them a scavenger hunt list of stuff to find on the streets of New York if I want to, if I need a shot of a bunch of tangled cables or something like that, or, flat tires if I want to make the audience feel sad or something like that.
And is that fun for them to get an assignment like that?
Yeah, but sometimes, things get lost in communication. There was this really funny moment where I I have strange requests all the time, and I was explaining one of them to one of my shooters, this Nellie Clues, and I said, I want to have a bank of magic hour images, because I like to have images that are shot at sunset, that I can just...
They call that magic hour,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, magic hour, so that, it adds, I think, an extra kind of emotional dimension to it once you put it in, and it automatically makes people feel something sometimes. So I said, tell the second unit team that I want a bank of magic hour images. And then I start getting the footage a few nights later, and I start combing through it, and I just start seeing these gorgeous shots of Bank of America, Chase Bank, Investors Bank at sunset. And I realized in that moment that she thought that I'd said banks at magic hour. And not a bank of magic hour images. So
you really have to be so careful.
But it was...
I think we have some of that.
Yeah. This is some of the footage here. So here's the Chase. That's the Bank of America. Here's a very beautiful Citibank, Bank of Pilar, and this very nice Investors Bank right here. But I'm really glad that there was that miscommunication now, because otherwise we wouldn't have these beautiful shots of banks.
Sometimes miscommunication is the best. You start out with kind of a mission, like how to appreciate wine.
Yes.
And then you learn like these things that people somehow know about, but it's interesting watching you go through the process. But then sometimes it just takes a weird turn and it's something totally different. Like you started with wine and then somehow you wound up with what?
So in this upcoming season, I have an episode where I try to teach you how to appreciate wine, and it detours almost instantly. But I get into talking about the age of wine and being able to appreciate eating and consuming old things. And I kind of teleport into this man's bedroom, who is obsessed with eating vintage MREs from the military from like Vietnam, like the meal ready to eat, you know.
He finds them.
Yeah, he gets rare meals from the Vietnam War meant for soldiers, and he eats them to completion. And so, you know, I use that as a way to basically teach you how to get in the mindset of someone who is like who can appreciate something like an aged wine, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's. I thought that he just, you know, he has a YouTube channel with a kind of a modest following, and that's how we found him. But, you know, when we were done eating the meal together, I thought he was just going to throw the rest out, but he insisted on saving the rest and eating it all while I was gone, even though it was, you know, 60-year-old ground beef, you know.
60-year-old ground beef.
Which honestly tasted like anything I would eat at, you know, LaGuardia. Like now.
Wow. It's almost impossible to describe how absorbing this show is. So you just have to watch it. So this season you've got what? You appreciating wine. I have a list here. How to invest in real estate.
Yes.
How to find a spot. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you may know, parking is very competitive in New York City, and I tried to tackle that subject with an episode called How to Find a Spot, and I brought a gift for you.
Oh yes.
Which is actually a calendar with photos from the irreplaceable Chris Maggio of open parking spots all around New York City.
Wow. July.
So.
Ooh, that's a beauty there in August.
I think for a New Yorker, it's something to salivate over, you know?
Wow. He makes TV shows and calendars, too. Season 2 of How To with John Wilson premieres November 26th on HBO and HBO Max. John Wilson. Thank you, John. We'll be back with the War on Drugs. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. If you want to see all our latest videos, click the subscribe button. And if you don't, click anyway and close your eyes when they come on.